The brain is a living miracle with so many connections and so many tasks being done all at once. Welcome to EazySense with scientist, author, and professor Dr. Patricia Broderick. Dr. Broderick is a medical professor in molecular, cellular, and biomedical science at the City University of New York School of Medicine and has invented, patented, and trademarked a revolutionary technology that will change the way we understand the brain. Some medical doctors have stated that the Broderick Probe will change the face of science and medicine. So please welcome the host of EazySense, Dr. Patricia Broderick.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a beautiful evening. Okay. What a beautiful Valentine's Day it was. Okay. We just did? We just tried the wireless earbuds with the mic in it. We're getting beautiful sound. John Michael and I were testing all of this. We decided to go back, to the headphones and that stuff, uh, just till we perfect it. And what an exciting night. I love show business. I love figuring things out, moving wires around, et cetera, et cetera. So we had to go back to our old way, and then we'll do something after the show. Welcome, welcome. We're broadcasting from boldbravetv.com. Okay, and I'm Dr. Broderick, and you know that there is a probe that is fantastic that sits next to all of the other machinery and can see inside the brain. Welcome, 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 welcome to my Med 10,000 class. And Kishan is studying away, has an exam today and had one yesterday. So he's taking a break. So I'm solo. And then when I'm solo, I can go into the technology more because we want, so that I can describe every fine point, you know, every single fine point so you can picture it so that the manufacturers, the investors, all our partners, the philanthropists can know what it is they're investing in. And you know what I noticed today? Uh, all of, I didn't go into every single one, S&P 500 and all of that. I just went into a couple, and I noticed there's a steady flow of, uh, of, of growth. And that made me so happy because, you know, licensing a probe during a time when the economy is at high inflation and we're just at a bad time. And so now we're going into a good time. I have this feeling there's lots of cars on the road. Everybody is back to work. I already started my class of 200 and they'll be coming in on the chat. What fun we are having. So we are live. We are global. For anybody just coming in, we didn't have technical difficulty. What we were doing was we were setting up the wireless earbuds, the wireless earbuds. That's what we were setting up. And you know what I was thinking? And I'm Dr. Broderick, as you know, and my first name is Patricia. I am a fully tenured medical professor at the City University of New York School of Medicine. And uh, as I was looking at this case for the earbuds with this is the earbuds with the mic in it. Oh, it's gorgeous, and the sound is gorgeous. As I was looking at it, I said, "This is the time. This is the time for us to start our photodiode sensor. This is the time." Now, our all of our senses, we have so many, and they are already successful, and they are smaller than a human hair. When I picked this up, when we are in the marketplace, this is how we're packaging Our technology will come in something like this. Think about that. Okay. The title of the show tonight, and it's right on the internet. I write it all up the night before. The title of our show tonight is Choices. Choices. What we need are choices. We need more technologies. We need more nanotechnologies going into the brain and spinal cord. We need a lot of choices. After all, we have choices for, I will put this down, but this is how we'll package it. And we are talking about choices tonight, and I have pictures. We're talking about tunnel technologies, the ones that you have to lay down and go into. And then we're talking about such a thing as my probe, which doesn't have any tunnels. You don't need a tunnel. You don't need to go into a tunnel. But let me describe again how small this is. All right, this is just a small pouch. Okay. Um, now, now you're going to see this in a different light. Again, you've seen it a lot of different ways, and there are billions of formulas. And you know what? There's a lot of ways to do the MRI too. When we just say MRI and we say CAT, which also can be called CT, when we say PET and all of that, each one has millions of ways to do things. Okay. Uh, and so this little thing has millions of ways to do things too. So when we look, we have we have a fabulous picture here of the PET scan, and the credit goes to Johns Hopkins Hospital. I selected this from the internet. I love animals. I spent my whole life saving animals. Uh, for to do every I want everybody to do a good job in research on animals. The animal has to be highly respected, and I don't think it's necessary to use 20, like 2,000 animals for one study. With this technology, now here is the pouch, here is the little probe. Okay, so it's small. Uh, and the top one that you're looking at on the right, that pretty blue, that's an example of an MRI tunnel. Oh, you know what? I should tell you about the PET scan, and I love that kitten. Kudos to Johns Hopkins. The MRI at the top, that credit goes to Healthline. They did this gorgeous picture, and it is beautiful. And all these technologies are, in fact, beautiful and do work. And the Broderick one, named after my father, sits right next to them, and it's beautiful too. So we're not putting any one better than the other, but we are telling exactly what each one does. What mine does really, really well is the tumors for white matter. Oh, I have a lot to tell you tonight. I am excited. As this book goes to Singapore, well, it's already in Singapore, you know that. 17 chapters, you already know that. It's in Singapore preparing for the typesetter. So it'll be at the typesetter. Well, I'll get the proofs the end of March, which is great because I have 400 pages to prove, and we have some holidays there in April. And don't forget, I'm on the double talking about this on April the 3rd. To go back now, at the top is the MRI credit Healthline. The bottom, I just love animals. It's so cute. This is the PET scan. Now, for the PET scan, you still have a tunnel, but the tunnel goes, the bed, so to speak, slides back and forth under the tunnel. In the MRI, the patient goes into the tunnel and stays there. Um, each one is used for different purposes. And in my medical in my biomedical imaging book that's going out now from Springer Nature. The first one went out from Humana Press, and I said that there were 18,000 downloads, and that's true. But I, I really did not tell. It's much more than 18,000. What the people at Springer Nature have mentioned to me is that they didn't have data for 10 years. So the 18,000 downloads from the 2005 book actually is much more than 18,000, because there's 10 years where the data wasn't collected. So that's why Springer Nature wants the second volume. The, so, and when you look it up, my class has the volume. My class has the first volume. That is their textbook, because they have to know about the brain, and about the diseases of the brain, about the diseases that come from illegal drug use, and about the side effects that come from legal medicines. And they have to know all of these technologies and what each technology does. And so, if we take a look at the CAT scan, as soon as we'll take our time and we'll do a little bit at a time. We want to do what we want to do tonight is talk about choices. We have to talk about, we have choices. We have choices in what university we're going to. A lot have choices. We realize and we respect uh, that some people do not have the choice. Okay. I mean, my parents didn't have the choice of a university. My mother grew up on a farm in County Cork in Bantry Bay, one of 14. She's the second oldest. Jeremiah was the oldest. So she she had to take care of the farm. She had to take care of the all of the children, not Jeremiah, but all of those under her. She barely got a chance to go to school. So, and my father grew up in County Clare, and he was a blacksmith. He walked from County Clare to County Galway uh, for his job as a blacksmith, when he was just a kid. Come to think of it, I started to work myself. I started to work when I was 13 years old. I started to work at 13 right after school, and I've been working ever since. Uh, I never, I was always working after school, and I worked all through studying for my master's, and I worked all through studying for my bachelor's. I worked all through studying for my doctorate. So, and for, my med, that gives you a little bit of a background for me. My father didn't have a chance either. So, a lot of two go to school very much. And of course, he's brilliant. And my mother was, and I still think of her as alive, actually. Her wisdom was incredible, uh, unbelievable. So I know that a lot of people don't have that. So when I say we have choices. We do now have much more choices, many more choices for universities, for healthcare plans, for what we wear, for what we do, for what we are going to become. We have choices for our friends. We have choices for even in our families. We choose to be. We love them all, but we choose to be with some more than others. So we always have choices. But what I've been noticing is that there are certain imaging technologies, that just have monopolies. The other day, I saw the United States Justice Department was planting a lawsuit on Google because they're a monopoly. Okay, well, there are three famous imaging technologies. Uh, we know them so well: MRI, CAT or CT, it's CAT or CT, and PET, PET. Um, these are actually monopolies because I'm thinking of intrinsic optical imaging, optical imaging. Sorry, I don't have a picture of that. You don't hear people saying intrinsic optical imaging. I talk about that in my bioimaging book that came on early on. I talk about all of the technologies. Our new authors, I have an email from one of our new authors in the new book, now the second volume, and she and he are going to be talking about MRI, MRS. These are all offspring. She's going to be talking about diffusion tensor imaging. Uh, Diffusion tensor, I could go into this. I'm telling you, this is so much fun for me. Uh, I know a lot about diffusion tensor imaging because my technology sees white matter abnormalities more precisely than the diffusion tensor imaging. And that's the one that we have chosen to go into the clinic with first because it's the easiest to understand. Now, back in the 2005 book, I do report on white matter imaging in demyelination kinds of disorders. Sure, I do, because it was around then. But the point is, where we improved it. We improved it. Well, MRI people improved it in about the year 2012. The MRI improved it with the diffusion tensor imaging. And I've just gone over the top. I really have beautiful, beautiful profiles for white matter abnormalities in gray matter abnormalities in white matter. It's really good. We are going for another provisional patent on white matter and leukodystrophies. So, what we have to realize is that each technology has its own beauty. So for the CAT scan, a lot of times uh, a doctor will write the prescription for a CAT scan because he wants to get it fast. He wants a lot of data and he wants to get it fast. And so uh, I have to tell you that the CAT imaging, again, is a tunnel. That's fine because these are good anyway. But this is fascinating. The CAT scan is is comprised of uh, a lot of X-rays. You see, an X-ray is a single radiation beam, and with the CAT scan, you have several hundreds or more or thousands of X-ray radiation beams. So for the CAT scan, for the CT, we have a great big X-ray. That's what we have now. And that's ionizing radiation, and the PET is ionizing radiation. And the MRI is non-ionizing, and mine is ionizing. So we'll have more pictures of all of these in the second half. Once again, we have only one commercial. So always we're going to have only one or none. Okay. And okay, well, look at what we see here. Oh, how do you like this? This is beautiful. John Michael is my tech. Well, he's not, he's much greater than a tech. He's an engineer. Okay. Par excellence. Now take a look on, well, it's on my right, the upper left MRI compliments of Healthline, and the bottom cute little, I love that one from Johns Hopkins because I love animals so much. With my technology, you need just 6 animals. They stay alive for their whole lives. They stay alive for their whole lives. and we study them live. Yes, they stay alive. They're happy. They live their whole life. Even when I was studying, and I say well, because I'm there all the time. I work with millions of beautiful people. I've sent them all to their uh, great abodes. They're fabulous doctors, practicing physicians, PhDs. But you see, I'm the one that's there all the time. So I can say I can say we. It doesn't matter. Uh, we are all together. I am looking now. I'm looking at the camera because I've been taught to do that actually. Uh, keep your head down and keep your eyes up. That's from my producer, Tom. Uh, Up in the upper left over there, uh, my device is just the little black one. And it doesn't have to be black, it can be any color. I actually have a gray one. And I actually designed it. I took the prototype, okay, and I have actually figured out the circuit for the sensor, and it's in chapter 4 of the book coming out from our publishers in Singapore. That's the one that tells the whole technology. It gives you protocols, exactly how to do things. I show exactly how I configured the circuit in chapter 4. I give protocols so you can sit down and just do the technology. So I've digitized it with this book. Uh, Saved a lot of time. So my licensees, investors, philanthropists, uh, partners, partners, partners to get shares. We have 200 shares in EasySense, uh, 200 shares. Certainly willing to partner with manufacturers, but you can see this is this one slide has everything in it. It has the tiny little detector. It's called a detector, and it has operational amplifiers in it. And my goodness gracious, I'm going to go to a commercial. We're broadcasting from boldbravetv.com. And I'm Dr. Broderick. And, when we were coming up the line, we just called each other last names. So I'll say it's Broderick. We're going to come back. Stay tuned, okay? Because we're going to come right back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the EasySense radio show with host Dr. Broderick. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
Okay, we're live. We're global. We're syndicated. We're happy. We have a product. We want to tell you about it. It sits right next to the MRI on the right, to the PET scan on the right, lower right. And it sits right there on the upper left there. Um, and you see, with the two technologies on the right, the scan is going on. With the Broderick Probe technology, which is neuromolecular imaging, NMI, versus the MRI, okay? I must tell you that a beautiful paper is published in Medical Research Archives, um, the European Society of Medicine, November the 30th. Uh, and that's going for a provisional right now to diagnose tumors, and we're going to put that. That's going to be our first choice to jump from the, and it's going to be in epilepsy patients and also other patients, and that's going to be our opportunity to jump from laboratory to clinic. All right, now what we have there is a signal coming from the potentiostat. Look at how small it is. And actually, uh, the one that we're going to market is in our hands. It's like the probe. It's very, very small, a handheld, where the patient will just direct it herself or himself. And so, in other words, instead of a tunnel, we have a handheld, what is called a potentiostat. Now, when you first hear the word potentiostat, galvanostat, I mean, the only difference is one studies current, the other studies the actual movement of electrons. Well, I'm not going to go into that now because the movement of electrons is current. Um, so I don't, you know what? I have a tendency. You'll have to forgive me. I love this stuff. I know it so well, and then I start to go into different uh, parts, precise parts of different different technologies and different parts of my technology. But we have a subject in the middle uh, of this diagram on the lower left. This is neuromolecular imaging. This is the one named Broderick after my father. Um, of course, you can't see the probe because you can't see the probe. This happens to be the part of the brain called the striatum that's most important in Parkinson's disease. And it's a movement site. Now, we can just study that, or we can study any part. We can study all the six layers uh, of the cortex of the epilepsy patient. We can study, we can have the probe in the brain of the human, of the animal. We have done both, all successfully, all through these years. We can see the signals while the subject is walking. And then you see on the right hand side of that slide, you see the scans are coming right out on the laptop. The next step is to have those scans from the laptop go straight to your cell phone. So you can see the movement, the signals in your brain on the cell phone, just like you can see the EKG, you can see the EEG, you can uh, you can see all of your. There's a lot now on the cell phone. The pulse is on the cell phone, et cetera, on all these apps. Uh, what we see instantaneously is our signals going. We're pulsing the probe. You can't, it's right in the middle inside the brain. We're pulsing that. We're getting signals immediately, the movement of electrons, uh, which is charge. There's a difference between charge and current. We'll go through that another day. It's not necessary, really, because I just want you to see that we're activating the sensor and we immediately get the signals from the brain. Immediately. And nothing from the brain is lost. Nothing from the brain is lost at all. Everything goes right back in place. It's a movement of redox. It's simply a loss of electrons, gain of electrons, and everything goes right back in order. Nothing is lost, and what you see is the signal from any part of the brain or the uh, any part of the brain while the subject is walking. Okay, with the epilepsy patients right now, we're in the operating room, and it will come soon with the manufacturers and the philanthropists and everybody, the investors. uh, you've got to help us out, because actually we can also have the human walking and we can see the signals as well. So, and I'm not, some people oversell their technology. I'm not overselling. This is something that we have done for decades, and many people have repeated it. Uh, it's beautiful, even from Albert Einstein College to, well, from St. John's University, Albert Einstein College, Cornell University, the City University, all with different people. We had the Hecka company. We had so many companies come to us. Uh, I'm going to say the Hecka company because Klaus Bauer, who's a student of the Nobel Prize winner, Al, Alan Bard. Alan Bard, I'm going to ask him to review my book, by the way. Uh, received the Nobel Prize for electrochemistry. My electrochemistry is brand new. This is electrochemistry in the brain of the living organism. So, what I'm known for is not only knowing the brain, the spinal cord, the physiology, the pharmacology, the anatomy, as much as possible. Nobody knows everything, but I'm known for taking the field of electrochemistry and bringing it into life. And in doing that, we are calling it, and it is well accepted all over the world. We are calling it neuromolecular imaging. And so that's NMI. Now, in this publication with Medical Research Archives, the European Society of Medicine, okay, the editor in chief um, actually likes this probe very much. Uh, so this was published immediately because we have the beautiful signals. And next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you signals from each technology. Each technology does have beautiful signals. And what I'm doing in two of my textbooks, and they are, we'll call them source books. Uh, Medical bioimaging is one that's going out now from Springer Nature, and bioimaging went out from Humana Press. Don Odom had a lot to do with that. For the new one, biomedical imaging, Bill Lambsback, Vishnu Prakash. Vishnu Prakash heads up our. I have to. I just have to. I just have to answer him. I answered him that I would get back to him tonight. That we're doing well on this. Vishnu Prakash is heading up the team of copy editors, production editors, etc. And so that's being done in India. When I look at this, you see on the right side the other technologies. That's just the first step. There's so much to do after that. When you look at the Broderick Probe, you simply activate it, and the signals come out instantaneously on the computer. Uh, and our next step is to bring the computer data into the cell phone. And then you will see your brain signals. I actually had a student here. Uh, this is from this great Geek Squad. I love the Geek Squad. He came and he was so fascinated. I mean, imagine seeing. We had a great conversation about uh, one of my talks here on the show, as we were downloading all of the data from the computer, so that you see the university has bought me a new computer. And so Kofi and I, he's our great IT person, and Kofi and I are working on moving all the data into the new computer and then switching. But this student, and he's in the Grove School of Engineering. He's not studying for his doctorate yet, but he's taking courses. So, as I said things like on the show, that MRI studies protons, and we study electrons. I mean, he was saying the words with me. He was actually saying the words with me, you see. But even if you don't have a background, you in science or psychology or any of these other ones, you don't need a background to understand that electrons are things that carry charges and protons are things that carry charges. And then with our photodiode, or all photodiodes, where ours will be special because it will be really miniature. And we're building it now. And we're hoping to get, I did the prototypes for the first one, and I would love to have partners for the second one because this is going to be a very small photodiode. I have it all worked out and patented. It's already patented. We're not going inside the brain at all. So, but if you don't have a background in science, it does not matter. You know electrons. You they you This is electricity. When you just plug, the any device, uh, charge up your computer, charge up your cell phone. This is you're having electrons moving, and that's what we're studying now in the MRI. They're studying protons. Now, down below there with the cute little cat, boy, do I love animals and people too, actually. Um, in that one, we're studying photons. Photons are light energy. Photons also you can't see. Um, so we're dealing, and photons, everybody knows about photonic energy. It's light. And so, what I'm doing, and you can get all of my work from all over the world, it's all over the internet. So much is published. It's at the United States Patent and Trade, USPTO, the United States uh, Patent and Trade Organization. All my patents are there. I'm very detailed when I write. Uh, when I write about a sensor and what's in the sensor, you will see when you read it that it is so detailed. It's incredible. You know what else is special uh, about this Singapore book is that I actually see. I didn't buy a kit. I didn't buy a kit and put the kit together. I didn't buy a sensor. I made the sensor. I made the electrochemical cell. I made it. I drilled the apertures in it in order to fit the particular uh, indicator. I won't go into detail there or I'll lose you altogether. But you will have a source book when you buy this book. And you can read it for fun, or you can read it as the manufacturer, as the licensee, because you will have all the information there. I digitized it. You know what else is different about it? I actually described how I felt when I got to certain different points, who I met, and how I felt about the people, about the doctors, about the whole situation. I actually put that in as well. So it is about the story of my life as I journey from electrochemistry to neuromolecular imaging to voltaic photonics. So it's very interesting. Epilepsy patients uh, have orgasms during certain seizures. This is a fact. Sometimes it is a pleasant experience, sometimes it causes trouble. For example, there are data wherein uh, the orgasms get in the way of the marriage, etc. Uh, the epilepsy seizures get in the way of the marriage as well. But it's an interesting book. You go from deep, deep science to then exactly what happens during an orgasm. And so while I was studying that, because there's also a method that I have, I'm going to digress now, and I don't want to digress. I'll save that for another show. Um, but while I was doing that, I went into the scientific, exactly the science of the orgasm, whether it is with the epilepsy patient or not. So the book is exciting, and the book is different. Now, we want choices. That's the whole point of tonight. Choices is at the top of the list now when you go into the internet to get the URL. And I have I have comments here, and I'm delighted. I have Kalina, and I have Mohammed. Thank you very much for coming. Oh, and Mohammed said she loves to teach. Also, she's very knowledgeable about what she teaches. Thanks, Mohammed. Yeah, nice to see you and hear about your choices uh, and determination and up where you are today, Professor. Yeah, I do have determination because we do need choices. People need to see what's on the market, and they need to see what each technology does. And you don't have to memorize electrons and protons and photons, but really the whole world knows. The word sensors is known by the whole world, and it certainly is going to be known by the whole world by the time I'm finished. Actually, I have met people who don't really, they have not heard of the word sensors, and they have not heard of the word electrons. They have not heard of photons. Uh, Photons then would be with the PET scan on the lower right. And I could go into more detail there about ionizing radiation and non ionizing radiation. Mine is non ionizing, and the MRI is non ionizing. But in my, I could have ionizing if I use more than one photodiode. And the infrared I find fascinating. I've chosen, you'll see when you read the patents, the infrared is safe. The infrared is much, well, I'm not going to say much, I'm not going to say less, because, um, you don't do that. And when I teach my students, I never say this drug is worse than the other. This drug causes more harm than the other. I don't ever do that. Each drug, take for example cocaine. Cocaine is a fabulous anesthetic. It causes its own vasal restriction, constriction. You don't need to have epinephrine to constrict blood vessels, but cocaine is abused so much that we have to keep it under guard. And fentanyl is a fabulous drug. It's a fabulous anesthetic. Um, and I have more people coming into the chat. Chadis, uh, and I think it's Giselle. And Shadis again, good. Oh, you were going to ask that um, down the, I have to bend down now, excuse me. Does the probe stay inside or, okay, or removed? Okay, it can just go in once and we can do a study. It can stay inside for 7 months. Uh, we have many different kinds of ways of doing it. The latest kind is it's not going in at all. It's just going to be on the side, and we're putting infrared through the fiber optics to reach the site of the epilepsy problem, for example, and the Alzheimer problem, etc. And it's not going to go in at all. We have data published in this book going out where the probe was in 7 months, that and we have the control where the animal did not. These are beautiful, beautiful animals which we treat beautifully, and we you need only a couple. No such thing as 2,000 for one study, and no such thing as studying after death. uh, and I thank, and Stephanie, thank you for coming in. Shadis, that's a beautiful question. I'm getting, believe it or not, this seems like this was 2 seconds or so. Uh, I have got to say goodnight. I will be back with you next week. Med 10,000, your lecture is on the blackboard. You already have it, but we sent it again. Uh, take care. Just think about opening up your mind to new technologies. Think about the magic, you know, uh, doll, DAHL, the beautiful writer for children. Think about the magic. The secrets are found in the most unlikely place. Uh, Dr. Broderick, a neuroscientist, is the one who figured out the electrochemistry. The secrets are found in the most unlikely places. Open up your hearts to the magic, to the miracles of the new technologies. Let not only mine, let the others come in too. And let all of these beautiful ones stay with us, and let us all stand side by side to help the patient not continue to have Alzheimer's, or help them not. And that's all of us, each one of us. Help us not to be a society of Alzheimer's patients. It's time. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, all over the world. That's a wrap.
You've been listening to Easy Sense with your host, Dr. Patricia Broderick. Tune in each week as Dr. Broderick talks about her new breakthrough in science and technology. Here on Dr. Broderick's Easy Sense.